anyways, he's going to talk to us about Contactually.
Thanks. So first of all, how many people here work for Social Driver? How many people don't? Okay, I wasn't sure how big the team has grown recently. I'm Sviban. I'm the founder of Contactually. Just time check, how long do I have? Like
10 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm sure all of you, are in this business primarily because of someone you know, or it's all for you. It's really all about your relationships, and I'm sure for Anthony and Thomas can agree. Their business success really relies on who they know, and it's not all about pipeline management and deal flow management, things like that. But when it comes to actually building your business, it's really just about building relationships and building your network. I mean, that's how I was able to have every opportunity I've had over the course of my career. That's how I've been able to build my company, raise funding. My last company, all our business came via word of mouth and referrals. And so it really comes down to who we know. And the problem is, there's really no way to actually manage all that information. There's really no way to actually figure out, well, who do you know? Who do you need to keep in touch with on a daily basis? And my problem is, as I'm dealing with more and more leads, I'm sure as everyone else here is dealing with more and more people all the time, keeping track of all those relationships is incredibly hard. So that's why we built Contactually. So Contactually is a relationship management tool that really tries to bring the actual relationships back into CRM. Most people don't actually understand that CRM is actually meant to help you build relationships. But existing CRMs are really all about reporting and pipeline management and putting projects together, and that never really asks you the question of, all right, in order to improve my business, who do I need to talk to today? So Contactually is pretty simple. You'll start out by first connecting your inbox. We work with pretty much any email system out there, Gmail, Google Apps, Exchange, Yahoo, etc. And we start to take a look at all your relationships. We look at your past 6 months of history, pull in your contacts, start to get a sense of, all right, who are the people that you're talking to often, and who are you starting to fall out of touch with? And so we can start to gain all these really interesting insights by starting to ask these questions. Who are you falling out of touch with? So for example, if Anthony and I were keeping in touch regularly over a period of a few weeks, and then a month had gone by, Contactually would see that maybe that's someone you're falling out of touch with. And so, for example, I can look at Anthony's profile within Contactually, and I can see how often I've been speaking to him. I can even see recent conversations. I can see that Contactually's actually told me to follow up with him a few times, and I haven't, apparently. And then it actually sees that it's starting to actually tell me a lot more about Anthony than my normal email would tell me. So just by dropping Anthony an email, I was able to pull in all his social profiles. I'm able to see his title. I'm able to see even his other email addresses. All that information was pulled in via just sending normal emails. I didn't have to log into Contactually and enter in any information. All I did was my normal email activity. And through that, you start to gain this really deep sense of who the relationships are in your network. Who are you keeping in touch with, and who are you falling out of touch with? So the main dashboard of Contactually is pretty simple. Whenever you log into Contactually, we present you with a very simple list. Here are the people that you should follow up with today, and we'll tell you why. We'll tell you that you said that Jessica is a potential hire, and you haven't spoken to her since April 5th. Or Michael Wolf is a partner, you haven't spoken to him since March 28th. I didn't have to tell Contactually anything. I didn't have to tell Contactually when the last time I spoke to him was, because they're able to look at my existing communications and see that, in fact, actually the last time I spoke to him was March 28th. And then of course, you know what, I could say that I could and if I wanted to, I could say, I'm going to send Michael Wolf an email. So right within Contactually, I can write him an email, see my past conversations, see more information about him in order to write a really good follow-up. Or I could say, let's just remind him in 14 days. Let's actually then, this guy, in fact, so Justin, let's see, I'm going to ignore him. I never need to worry about him. And that way I can start working through all my contacts and so Contactually will make sure that I keep in touch with the people that are important. And the people that aren't, I just say, I don't have to worry about them. And so this is surfaced through our dashboard. We also send you an email every day of the top people that you need to keep in touch with that day. And then we also have a new Chrome plugin, so it'll sit alongside your Gmail, and you'll be able to see, right within your email client who you need to keep in touch with that day. Now, this is really useful to show you who you need to keep in touch with. But what about organization? How do you actually organize all these contacts? So in Contactually, we have this concept called buckets. So I'm able to set up groupings of contacts, and I can say, all right, I have current investors, future investors, entrepreneurs, potential acquirers, etc. Now, the interesting thing here is that, all right, it's just like a normal categorization system. Why should I do that in Contactually? And that's because for the different types of contacts you have in your life, you usually have an idea of how often you want to keep in touch with them. So, for example, I know that I want to keep in touch with all my current investors usually every 10 days, future investors every 30, other interesting entrepreneurs, maybe every 45 or something. And, if I'm managing hundreds of contacts, how do I know of all these contacts that I care about, who do I need to talk to and who am I falling out of touch with? So with Contactually, you can actually simply tell Contactually, all right, make sure I keep in touch with my investors every 10 days. Another thing that interesting thing we have in there is that we're also compatible with existing CRM tools. So right now we work with Salesforce, Highrise, Sugar CRM, we're working with Pipedrive, MailChimp, etc. And so if you also say that, also make sure that all my potential leads go into Salesforce and my interesting entrepreneurs go into this list in MailChimp so I can send them email lists. You can do all that through Contactually. And it's just as simple as taking contacts, dragging them into the appropriate bucket, and working like that. Now, of course, we also kind of made it fun too. So actually, every Friday afternoon, if you see on our dashboard, we prompt our users to do a little thing called Play the Bucket game. This is actually kind of one of our top features. It doesn't look so good on a small screen. But what you see is, all your buckets are on the bottom of the screen, and a contact drops down, and you can choose which bucket a particular contact goes into. And now, if I asked you to go into Google Contacts and group 50 of your contacts, it'd probably be a really boring task. Now, if I asked you to play a game every Friday afternoon, probably be a lot more likely to do it. And we've seen some people sometimes sit there and bucket 1,000 contacts at a time. Now, last thing I'm going to talk about is our team functionality, because we know that many of you also work in teams. You're not just working by yourselves. And so all of a sudden, you don't care about keeping in touch with just your leads. You want to make sure that your entire team is keeping in touch with their leads. And that's another big feature of Contactually. So if we actually go back to our dashboard, I can actually start to see how my entire team is performing. I can see that actually I've been pretty active today. Tony's been pretty active. Jeff and Amelia haven't done anything. I can start to see the performance of my overall team, and then of course, within the buckets, I can also say, make sure that share all my current investors with my team, and also if I want to have a group of contacts that I want to share with my team, you can do that in Contactually. So for example, I can then go into my team buckets and I can see, all right, these are all our top customers. And then I can dive into an individual one. I can dive into an individual contact. I can see my communication history with them, but then I can also see who my team is in touch with, how often my team is in touch with them. And so that way you can not only manage your relationships, but the relationships for your entire company. So we're a software as a service. We have obviously free plans. We start at $15 per user per month, and we have team plans that drop down to around $8 per user per month. We're compatible with everything out there, and yeah, at this point, happy to answer any questions.